Hey YouTube, I just realized I got some requests for the worst vacation of my life video. I guess I'll just tell you guys why it was the worst vacation of my life. It wasn't a vacation where I went with my family. It was a vacation where I went with my friend. And he told me, when he was telling me about it, he told me like a week before. He said, oh, well, we're leaving next week or the week after. It will be pretty cool. We're just going to go to Disneyland, Universal Studios, but we don't have to hang out with my parents and stuff. And I was like, well, that could be pretty cool, because I knew his parents were kind of like overprotective. It was my friend David. I love David, but he's like really socially awkward. I mean, after spending a weekend with his parents and stuff like that, I honestly know why. But all right, I go over to his house at first. It seemed like it was gonna be pretty cool. Or no, that's not what happened. His mom actually came by my dad's house asking for an insurance card and stuff. And when she was there, she told him that, oh, don't worry, him and David aren't just going to be wandering off. We're all going to stay together the whole time. And that honestly made me not want to go. I mean, I know his whole family was going. I mean, he had like 2 little kids that were like 4 and like 2 going to Disneyland. And it really just made me not want to go. I couldn't bail out right there, though. I mean, that would probably like, I don't know. They were already expecting me and stuff. I couldn't just make an excuse. They already talked to my dad. So I had to go. I really didn't think it would be a big deal, but it went really badly. I went over to his house Thursday. I stayed over Thursday. We just kind of hung out. We woke up like around, I think, 5:30ish. Left at 6. We went to the. They went to bed. Okay, his parents went to bed around 8. They woke up around 6. It wasn't that long of a drive. It was only like a 6-hour drive, but his family stops all the time, so it made it into like a 7 or 8-hour drive. That was getting on to me because they always stopped for food and snacks. David's family is pretty big, so they were always eating candy, and like the whole time we were there, all they ate was fast food. And I don't eat like that. I hate eating like that. I try to be healthy for my body, and it kind of ruined. It really wasn't a good thing for me. The last day I didn't even eat, and yeah, we went to the beach the first day. We went to Huntington Beach. I don't know if any of you guys know where that is. Yeah, we went over there. And this is when I knew it was going to be a bad trip, because we got there. Well, first, David's parents had to rest for 2 hours, but we got there, and I'm from California. I live in Arizona now, but I'm from California originally. I love the beach. I love the water. I love all that stuff. So I'm trying to swim out there, but David's parents the whole time were really protective. They're like, no, you got to stay in a certain area, and I'm trying to battle the current. When I'm with my family, we just swim with the current. Like, we'll start at one part of the beach and we'll be at the end of the beach. But that's okay to us. That's just how we like to do things. I was kind of like, oh, well, I couldn't go all the way out that I wanted to, because I had to try and stay in this certain area, and they'd always, like, his parents would freak out and go out to the beach and be like, oh, come back. And I was just like, God, this is terrible. David tried to go out with me a little bit, and his mom came by the water and started yelling at him. She was like, you can't swim, David, you can't do this. And he looked fine. I mean, he was like, don't take him out there. And she started yelling at me. She said, he can't swim. And I was like, oh, okay. So his parents were all protective. If I like go, because they gave me an area around maybe, I don't even know, like 20 yards. A certain area, like I could go as far as I want, but I couldn't go past the 20 yards. Like, I don't know, like they would freak out and like run to the top of the beach. And that was pretty lame. That wasn't the worst part though. It started getting bad when we were at Disneyland. It was really bad. I was having fun at first, but around every 20 minutes, David's dad would give me a speech about how I don't know how to have fun, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. He's like, you gotta just loosen up. His whole family was telling that, him and his mom, and I was like, I'm having a fine time. I would be having a much better time if you guys didn't stop saying that. I didn't say that because, like, I guess David's dad's, I don't know, I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, that was starting to ruin it for me. Like, by the end of the day, like, I was just like kind of like, it really killed my mood. And then he was getting mad at me for texting. I'm 16. I text all the fucking time. So I guess David doesn't do that. He was getting mad at me. He was saying he didn't like my attitude, stuff like that. It didn't become a big deal until the next day. But yeah, wouldn't that kill your guys' mood if you're just trying to have a good time and you already have to spend it with his lame family? And by the way, like, they're like really big, like kind of morbidly obese. I don't know, that sounds mean, but I mean, they're pretty big, so they are slow as fuck. They're slow as hell when they're walking. His dad had like a cane, and they would just stop in the middle of a big crowd, and I'd be like, this is terrible. And it was getting really annoying. We were doing, and yeah, Yeah, so that was annoying. I really could walk farther. Like, he was getting mad. Like, when he started getting really mad at me, he was getting really mad when I wasn't getting excited to see Donald Duck and shit like that. I was like, dude, I'm fucking 16. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, this is so gay and stuff. I was just following him around. I wasn't like frowning or anything or acting like down. I was just like, yeah, this is cool. You know, it's for the little kids. And he was getting mad at me. And at the end of the day, he was like, I was just, like, he gave me a big speech over something. Like, he's like, yeah, there's going to be a little parade. That's why people are sitting out there hours before. I'm like, man, that's crazy. And then he gave me a speech about, he's like, you don't even know. And he started getting mad at me. And I was like, okay, man. And I don't know. I guess he got mad at me because people wanted to sit down like 2 hours before a parade started. So, yeah, all that happened. Then we went home. They woke us up around 5 every day to eat and stuff. Around 5:36 to go get the free breakfast or whatever. The last day, I was pretty excited for Universal Studios. That was the worst day of all. We went there. He gave me the same speech and stuff. They all stayed together. They wanted to eat as soon as we got there, of course. They're always hungry. I really wasn't hungry. I got sick after the food. I was still having a good time, though. We saw the Terminator show and stuff. And I was having a fun time. Like, I came out of Terminator. Like, I was happy. I had, like, oh, my God. Like, that kind of look on my face, you know? And he was still like, nothing's good enough for you. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Just let me have a good time. And it was really ruining my mood. And then we went to the Waterworld show. And I was pretty pumped for that. I knew there was like a big cast and crew and stuff. Like, I mean, they had Sean Loser from True Blood on there. They had some guy from CSI New York, some other guys from TV shows I don't really know about. The girl from Expendables. And I was pretty excited for that. We're sitting down, and then his dad tells me, he's like, oh, we should have sat down there. I was like, really? Why? He's like, oh, I can't tell you. I'm like, oh, I wonder, it was like, is it cool? I was like, is it cool down there? And we're just having a plain conversation. And this is where it really ruined my vacation. We were just having a plain conversation. He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, man. And David's like, oh, I tried to tell you we should sit down there. And he's like, oh, I didn't hear. I was like, oh. And I guess I don't know what I said. I didn't say anything disrespectful. David's parents are super strict. I made sure I was not disrespectful at all, but yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, maybe we should have sat down there. And he's like, you know what, maybe you should have sat down there. You should have just sat down there by yourself. And I was like, okay. I thought he was being sarcastic. In my family, we're really sarcastic. David's dad is always cracking jokes and shit, so I just thought he was being sarcastic, you know? And he's like, and then I was like, okay. And he's like, you know what, David, you sit by me. This kid's gonna piss me off. He's gonna piss me off. And I was like, oh, this just ruined my day, because like I said, I thought he was being sarcastic. And then David's dad totally was like, you know what, motherfucker, and he starts cussing me out. I'm stranded. I'm just like 6 hours away from home. He starts cussing me out before the day it's even 12. So that just ruined my whole day. He was like, all you've done is bitch and whine. He was cussing me out big time, and I was like, what? He's like, nothing's fucking good enough for you. He was like calling me like a little son of a bitch. He was saying stuff like that, and I was like, what the fuck? David's dad's a big fat guy too, and I was like, what? And he was mad at me. He was like, I took you there because I thought you'd have a good time. Nothing is fucking good enough for you. I'm never fucking taking you anywhere again. And I was like, wow. And that ruined my day. I got really sad. I kind of thought of David's family like as a weird third family or some shit. I was like, wow. It made me just want to go home. I was stranded though. It was really weird because I knew they wanted to go the rest of the day. And his dad didn't apologize. His dad did not say anything else after that. He told me one thing. Because I was moping in the back of the group. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to go. Like, I couldn't go by myself. That was the worst fucking part. I had to keep hanging out with his dad and his mom and his family the whole day after his dad cussed me out. And I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Like, I almost fucking cried. That was the most terrible moment probably in this whole year. And I was really stunned. I really didn't know what to say. Not only did his dad cuss me out, no one talked to me. David just fucking stopped talking to me. I was like, and that's the only person I came there with. His brother was kind of talking to me. Thanks to his brother for talking to me, because I don't even know what would have happened if his brother, but his dad didn't say shit to me. David didn't say shit to me. The only thing his dad said afterwards is, hey, I'm calling your dad. I want you to give your number to Josie, David's mom. And I'm going to call your dad. I'm just letting you know that. And he said it in the most, like, intimidating. Like, he was trying to, like, punk me or something, telling me he was going to call my dad. And I was like, wow. And not only did the trip just didn't end, I went home. We went to the hotel. That was the last day we were going to be there. I just wanted to get out of there. The most awkward situation of my life. I already called my parents. And yeah, I was just trying to get out of there. They didn't leave. They were supposed to leave like at 5 or 6 in the morning. Of course they didn't leave till fucking around 8 or 9. And I was like, wow. And not only did they not leave till 8 or 9, they made around 3 stops in LA before we even got out of LA. They wanted snacks, they wanted food, they had to use the bathroom. I was like, oh my god. They were always trying to stop to eat. So there was like around 6 or 7 stops, and I just wanted to get home. And like his dad was, I don't even know what his dad was saying. He's like, oh, you know what? I'm in no rush to get home. And like he looked at me, and because I wasn't saying anything. I just was sitting in the back of the seat. I had my big earphones on. I just wanted to go home. It was the worst vacation ever. All I could think about the whole time was how much fun I'd be having if I was with my brother and my sister and my dad. And that's all it was, and it took forever to get home. We left around 8 or 9. I got home around 4. I had some games. I had like some of my favorite games at David's house, so I went and stayed at David's house, ran out. My mom was already outside, so I just kind of jumped in the car. It took like a minute. I got there at their house for a minute. We left. And then what kind of was like a slap in the face was David's parents actually drove to my house afterwards. And this wouldn't have pissed me off normally. But they came there saying, oh, well, he didn't have a good time. He really just needs to loosen up. And like it was the same shit. He was telling that to my parents. He did not apologize for cussing me out. He didn't say none of that. And my dad didn't call him on it because he's like, where would it go? He could already see. He said he could see the disappointment in David's mom's face when that happened. But yeah, it was pretty much the worst vacation of my life. He didn't apologize. I really want nothing to do with David's family anymore after that. And it sucks, but what can you do, man? That was ridiculous. Would it ruin your guys' time if someone kept telling you that you didn't know how to have fun, you need to loosen up when you're having a normal good time? Like, I guess, I don't know, because he was really getting mad at me for not being excited to see all the dumb shit. I mean, I was happy, but I guess I wasn't like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was the first vacation of my life. I got a couple requests for it. It was mainly for nonjetut. Yeah, I just got done with my workout. I feel great, and yeah, thanks nonjetut for asking. There was a couple others, I think, but I can't remember on the top of my head, so yeah, later.